Queens and Kings, my name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it is the first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Welcome to today's tutorial. We'll be doing wonderful, lovely, gorgeous beaded tassel earrings. Now, what materials will be? Luckily, this is going to be a one-part video. Thank you. Praise him, praise him. So what materials are we using for this tutorial? We're going to be using 11 knot size beads, check beads. And then we'll be using our 2-ply nylon thread. So this thread has to be appropriate for 11 knot beads. And then we're going to be using our needle that is able to fit 11 knot size beads. So those are the 3 materials that we'll be using. So let's get started. So I have my needle and my thread, Queens and Kings. Now we're going to use a single thread, which means we are not going to join the ends together. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off by creating 2 knots, one on top of the other. So this is how we're going to create our knot. 1 and 2, and then you pull your needle whilst your thread is still intact, and here is our knot, Queens and Kings. Okay, so now we're going to start off by picking up 6 white beads. We're starting off with a ladder stitch. You pick up your 6 white beads. Here are my 6 white beads. Now I'm going to divide them into 2, which means I'll have 2 groups of 3. Yes, that's the proper way of putting it. 3. What I'm going to do, this is the tail of our thread. I'm going to take my needle and insert it under the 3 beads and move upwards like this. This is a ladder stitch that we are creating. We are creating the foundation. So the 6 beads will be side by side like this. They will be positioned like this, side by side. Then after that, I go to my next door neighbor like this. Okay, and then I pull. So this is how my beads will look like. Oopsie. This is how they will look like. Okay, now I'm going to pick up another 3 white beads. Now I'm going to take my needle and insert it from the top. From the top, moving downwards like this. And then I pull my needle. Then I take my needle, I go back to the 3 beads that we recently added, and I move from the bottom towards the upwards direction. So now I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to pick up 1 blue and 2 white beads. 1 blue and 2 white beads. Take my needle and insert it from the bottom upwards. Bottom upwards. And then I pull. Then I take my needle from upwards downwards. Insert it into the 3 beads. Okay. Now you're going to pick up another 3 white beads. 3 white beads. Take your needle from upwards, you move downwards like this. And then you move from downwards to upwards like this. And then you're going to pick up another 3 white beads. You move from downwards to upwards. And you pull your thread like this. And then from this point you move from upwards to downwards like this. And then you pick up your 3 white beads again, and then you insert your needle from what? From upwards like this. And then when you're done, you move from downwards towards upwards. So this is the foundation using our brick stitch. Okay, so now we're going to get started with moving forward from this point. So what we're going to do now, oh sorry, we're doing our ladder stitch. Ne? Now we're going to move on into our brick stitch. Now you're going to pick up your 2 white beads. Okay, then insert your needle into the second loop. So you have your first loop, the second loop, under that loop. That is where we're going to insert our needle. So your 2 beads will be positioned side by side, and then insert your needle into that 1 bead. Then you pull upwards. So this is how it is. It's going to be like. Now you're going to pick up 1 blue bead. Set your needle under the immediate sorry, Queens, sorry, excuse me. The next loop. And what? Into your bead. Then you pick up 1 bead, 1 blue bead like this. Then insert it into the next loop. Insert your needle under, not into, under your next loop, and then into your bead. Okay. Now going to pick up your white bead. Insert your needle under the loop like this and into your bead. This is the quickest earring, queens and kings. It's the quickest earring. Okay, so now you're going to pick up 1 bead, white bead, under the loop, into your bead like this. Then you pull. So this is how it is. Now you're going to pick up 2 beads. You're going to pick up 1 white and 1 blue bead. 1 white and 1 blue bead, I think. Okay. Then insert your needle under the second loop. Then into that blue bead. Into the blue bead. Then you pick up one blue bead under the loop and into the bead. Oh, I have a knot. Okay, I sorted it out. You pick up one blue bead. Listen, having a knot is so on brand for me. Like when I not have a knot while beading, just know that something is wrong, okay? It's a problem now. Because I cannot finish beading without having a knot. And then you're going to pick up one white bead. It's so normal to me. And I was advised that I should, there's a hack where you take your thread and you dip it in soap. That means it's going to help you not have a lot of knots while beading. Okay, I did that, but still, I get the same problem. So, I think it's meant to be. I think at this point, I think it's meant to be. And I should stop fighting it. Pick up two blue beads. I should stop fighting it. You know when you have a nickname that you hate so much? And then when you fight it, the more it sticks on you. Yeah. It's the very same thing. Then you're going to pick up another blue bead. So if you notice, Queens and Kings, we have like a mini triangle. A mini blue triangle. Okay. So this is how it is. So I also want to demonstrate on how you can add a thread in case your thread runs out. Ne? Let me just cut it here. Okay, so I would advise Queens and Kings that if you have a short thread, even if it's not as short that you can change it, please change it because that means you're closer to making your tassels. So when you're making your tassels, just to make things easier, it's better when you're not joining your thread while joining your tassels, but it's doable. But just to less complicate things, yeah, let's say that. But even if your thread runs out while you're making your tassels, that's okay too. So now we are going to create our knot. We're going to create two knots, one on top of the other. Before you join your thread, this is how we go about. 1 and 2. Then you pull your needle while you make sure that your thread is intact on your other hand. So there we are, we have our knot. Okay, we made 2 knots, Queens and Kings. Now you're going to look at where your thread is protruding from, the bead in which your thread is protruding from. And underneath that bead, you're going to insert your needle underneath that bead and then you pull your needle. Slowly to avoid knots. Don't be a Thandeka. And then you're going to take the 2 tails. This is the old thread and this is the new thread, the longer thread. Then you're going to tie these threads together. Tie them together. First tie, then you tie them the second time. So you're going to tie 2 times like this. Then when you're done, you can cut off the old thread, the shorter thread. the old thread, you see? That's the one you're going to cut off. And you can cut off the tail of the new thread that you added. Remember we had a tail underneath the bead. Cut that one off so that you don't get confused and find yourself grabbing all the threads you can see. So that's how it is, queens and kings. That's how you rejoin your thread. So now let's move on, queens and kings. You're going to pick up 2 blue beads. 2 blue beads. Set your needle under the second loop. And then into the bead. You take your needle, your bead, you pick up 1 blue bead, and you set your needle under the wati, the loop. And then you insert your needle into the bead. Okay, so this is how your earring looks like currently. So now you're going to pick up 2 blue beads, take your needle, insert it under the second loop, which is the only loop in this scenario, which is the only second loop, sorry. You have 2 loops and that's the only second loop you have. And then your needle into the bead. So this is how it's looking like. So now you're going to create a loop situation. So you're going to pick up 5 blue beads. So my 5 blue beads. I take my needle, I insert it into the bead, not under the loop, into the beads. So at the top you only have 2 beads. 1 bead is the one in which your thread is coming from. And then the second bead is an empty bead. So insert your needle into that empty bead. Just going to insert it into 2 beads downwards. And then you pull your thread. So you're going to have this loop at the top of your earring. Now you're going to tie a knot. You poke your needle in between the beads and then you create a loop. Once that is done, you insert your needle into that loop that you created because now you want to tie a knot. Okay? Then you move your needle downwards. You move your needle downwards. So you just keep on inserting your needle into these beads on the outside until you get to the bottom. So like how I've done, you see? So this is how it looks like currently, queens and kings. Yes, now we're going to get started with our tassels. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to talk over or talk through the beads that I've picked up so far. Ne? You're going to pick up 4 white beads, 1 yellow, 1 white, 1 yellow, and 1 white. And then you pick up 4 yellow beads, 1 orange, 1 yellow, 1 orange, 1 yellow, and 4 orange beads. Then you pick up 1 red bead. Oh, sorry. One red, one orange, one red, one orange, and then 4 red beads. Then you pick up one blue, oh, sorry, one blue, one red, one blue, one red, and 4 blue beads. So this is how it looks like in total. Now you are going to pick up another 4 blue beads. 4 blue beads. Here are my 4 blue beads. Okay. And then you're going to pick up one yellow and one orange. So you separate these ones from the crowd, the blue beads that you recently picked up, and then you have one yellow and one orange. Now what you're going to do, queens and kings, you're going to pick up one red bead. I'm going to pick up a different red, a shiny sparkling one. And then I'm going to insert my needle into only the orange and the yellow. Okay? Are you following? Only into the orange and the yellow. Okay. So this is how it looks like. And then I pick up 4 blue beads. 4 blue beads. No? Remember, and then on your side, you count 4 blue beads and then insert your needle into the 5th bead. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to insert your needle into the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th bead. Ne? Into the remainder 4 beads. Now this is how it's going to look like. So this is how you create the bell tassel. I'm calling it the bell tassel, by the way. It's not an official name. Looks like a bell and it is a tassel. So then therefore it's a bell tassel. So this is how it is, queens and kings. Then you go back, you check if everything is correct. And then once you do that, once you have done that, you insert your needle into the rest of the beads that are in the row, that are in your tassel that you picked up. Insert your needle into all of the beads until you get to the top. Insert your needle. This is the last bead into my tassel. Then, once you've done that, insert your needle into the 3 beads from your earring, from the top part of your earring. And then you insert your needle downwards into the next 3 beads. The next 3 beads. Downwards like this. And then you pull your thread. You pull your thread like this. So this is how it's looking like, queens and kings. Ta-da! So this is the trick, queens and kings. You're going to pick up everything the same. The only difference is here at the beginning. You're going to keep adding 3 beads, 3 white beads. So now you pick up your 4 white beads, which is what we have done in the previous tassel, but now you add your 3 white beads. Now you're going to look into your next door neighbor and copy exactly. So you're going to pick up 1 yellow, 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 white, 4 yellow. 1 orange, 1 yellow, 1 orange, 1 yellow, 4 orange. 1 red, 1 orange, 1 red, 1 orange, 4 red. 1 blue, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 red, 4 blue. And another 4 blue. And another yellow, orange, and a red. Okay, now let's get started. So these are my beads. I've added them. Now I'm going to pick up at the end the yellow and the orange. I push it to the end, then I pick up my one shiny red bead. Then I insert my needle only into the orange and the yellow. You do the very same thing that we're doing, Queens and Kings. Don't look surprised. Don't look surprised. This is what we did in the previous tassel. No surprises here. This is exactly what we're doing, okay? It's like ordering a meat with chili, and then you're surprised that it's hot. Was it supposed to be sweet? I'm joking, Queens and Kings. Then you pick up 4 blue beads. We're creating our bell tassel, and then you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you insert your needle only into the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th blue bead. Then you pull your needle. Nice and slow, avoid making knots, don't be like me. And this is how it looks like, Queens and Kings. Once you've done this, go back and make sure that everything is in check. And then you continue to insert your needle into the rest of the beads. All of the beads, actually, from your tassels. You move upwards into the top of our earring. So once you've done that, you've added the needle into all the tassel. Now insert your needle into the 3 beads. Like this. Then once you've done that, insert your needle into the next door neighbor, the next 3 beads. Okay, Queens and Kings, now we're getting into our 3rd tassel. What we're going to do is the same as what we've done in the previous tassel. The previous tassel we had 7 white beads in total, but for this one you're going to add 3 to it. So in total you're going to have 10 white beads. These are my 10 white beads in total. So what you're going to do here is the beads that you're going to add after the white part is exactly the same. Your white, your yellow, white, yellow, 4 yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, 4 orange, red, orange, 4 red, blue, red, 4 blue, and another 4 blue, and then orange and yellow and orange. The same process, Queens and Kings. So I'm going to do this tassel and then we'll come back while we're doing the other one to save time. Okay, Queens and Kings, we've done our tassel. Now we're at the center of our earring, the central tassel for our earring. So what you're going to do now, you're going to add 13 white beads. Remember in our previous tassel, we had 10 white beads. So for this, we're going to add 3 more and then we're going to have 13 white beads. Sorry, 13 white beads. So now you're going to keep on adding your other colors. Everything you're going to do the same. The only change that you do is with your white beads. So keep adding your colors and create your bell tassel here at the bottom. And then we come back when we're doing the next tassel, queens and kings. Okay, queens and kings. So now, after we've done the central tassel, now we're going to move over to the other half of our earring. Now, remember when we're doing this side, we kept on adding 3 white beads. So for this side, we are going to remove 3 white beads. So in the previous tassel, we had 13 white beads. If we remove the 13 white beads, we end up with 10 white beads. So here are my 10 white beads that I'm adding. And then you're going to do everything the same. You're going to add your yellow, your orange, your red, and you're going to create your bell tassel at the bottom. Then we're going to come back to the next tassel. So we are now on the second last tassel. So in the previous tassel, we had 10 white beads. I'm still calculating, I forgot. 10 white beads. So when you take away 3 beads, you're going to have 7 beads. Okay, so you're going to have 7 white beads. Now you're going to pick up your 7 white beads. So these are my 7 white beads. And then once you've done that, everything else is the same. Your yellow, your orange, your red, your blue is the same. And your bell tassel at the bottom. The only thing that you change when you create the tassels is the white beading or the white beads. Okay, queens and kings, we are finally on our last tassel. Now, in the previous tassel, we had 7 white beads. If you take away 3 white beads, in total you have 4 white beads. So you're going to add your 4 white beads. And then you add the rest, create your bell tassel at the bottom, and then you move up. Until we meet again. Okay, queens and kings, so we finally done with our tassels. So now what we want to do, we want to secure our thread. You're just gonna poke your thread in between the beads like this. Then you want to create a loop around it, sorry. And then insert your needle into that loop that you created and pull it slowly. Your knot should land in between the beads like this. It has to be nice and discreet. And then you can move upwards and secure it twice. So I move up in my beads. This is the side of the top part of our earring, not into our tassels. Ne? And then we poke, we create a loop, needle into the loop, then you pull nicely. And this is how it looks like, queens and kings. Then when you're done, you cut off your thread. Now, this is our earring. My earrings, queens and kings. We have our nice bell tassels here at the bottom. And this is how our earring looks like. Now, I'm off to go create the, the other earring. And then I have a complete pair of earrings. They're so cute. Oh, they're so cute. They so cute. This bottom detail is what makes these earrings the best earrings ever. I don't want to lie. Okay, Queens and Kings, thank you so much for watching Queens and Kings. This was a nice and short tutorial, only one part. Thank you so much for watching Queens and Kings. I love you guys so, so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. If you love the content that you see, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video. Bye.